I quit caffeine and honestly, it wasn't that hard. In this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you what happened to me when I quit caffeine. Now, I wanna give you a little bit of context, all right? I know that being addicted to caffeine is nothing really compared to being hooked on tobacco or alcohol or something harder, but nevertheless, it's still an addiction. For most people, it's not problematic. And for me, it wasn't that bad either. Hell, there's even positive benefits to drinking caffeine for sure. A lot of people actually have caffeine every day, and for them, that outweighs some of the negatives. Comment below if you've ever actually experienced any negatives with caffeine. I'm curious who else is with me. I just got to a point though where the positives were not outweighing the negatives for me, and I wanted to stop. Now, I'm gonna explain a little bit later in the video how I'm not completely caffeine free anymore, but I did completely quit cold turkey. I didn't have a single sip for 81 days. I may in the future go back to drinking coffee more frequently or even having caffeine every day, but in this video, I'm just gonna highlight what it was like to quit and have none at all. So back in late May of this year, my roommate and I, we decided at the same time that we both were kind of just fed up with being hooked on caffeine. And I'm gonna give a little shout out to Alex Becker here. He's a YouTuber. He was definitely a huge inspiration for me wanting to give it up. He made some videos on there, so I'll link one of those here as well so you can bookmark it, maybe watch that video after this one. So my roommate and I decided to give it up at the same time. By the way, drop a like on this video if you've ever even considered giving up caffeine in any way. My roommate and I were holding each other accountable. So I told myself I was gonna not have even a single sip for 60 days straight, and then I would reassess after that. The first week was obviously super rough. Your body's so dependent on that external source of energy, which isn't really energy, it's just caffeine, which is an adenosine receptor agonist. So all it does is it blocks the chemical in our brain called adenosine. That's what makes you feel tired. So you really just have to push through and use your mental discipline to not go slamming an energy drink or doing lines of espresso on your desk, because you may feel that way. I was definitely super low energy, yawning throughout the day, overall just less productive, less brain function. Now, by the time I got to the second week, I could definitely feel my body starting to change, and progressively I felt like I had more energy, and overall I felt like the habit of me needing to grab a coffee was just starting to go away. Towards the end of the second week, I actually started feeling much better, and I could feel my body's natural energy actually coming back. Because just think about it, we were never designed to rely on a drink to give us that feeling of alertness. Even though people have been drinking coffee for a very long time, back when we were hunter and gatherers, we would just get up when the sun rose and get that sunlight in our eyes, which would give our body and brain the signal that it was time to wake up, it was time to be alert. So for many of us, we completely forget or don't even know what it's like to experience natural energy without caffeine. But I want you to think back to a time in your life before you started to drink caffeine. Maybe it was when you were a kid, maybe it's almost too difficult to remember, but you didn't start drinking caffeine maybe until you were a teen or until you were adult. Either way, think back to before that and remember that. Sure, right when you wake up, maybe you feel tired, maybe you feel groggy. Depends a lot on the quality of sleep that you got the night before, but maybe after about 20 to 30 minutes, you're good. You were fully awake, you were alert, you're not sitting there nodding off or yawning 20 times in the row. So it just goes to show we don't actually need something like caffeine to feel alert and to wake up. So back to the story. By the end of week 3, I felt like my natural energy was back to baseline, and I was actually feeling really good. I had way less anxiety. I was sleeping better. I actually was tracking on my Oura Ring as well. Some of the nights before I quit, when I was drinking like 150 milligrams of caffeine per day, and then I compared those scores to how I was sleeping after as a caffeine-free person. So the main metric that I saw improvement here for sleep was my REM sleep. For whatever reason, even when my sleep is the most dialed, I just don't get that much REM sleep at all, at least according to the Oura Ring. I couldn't tell you why that is, to be honest, but what I can say is that quitting caffeine actually gave me some nights where I was getting double or more of the REM that I was used to getting. Typically, I can get in the upper optimal range for all the other metrics on there, but REM was never one of them. Additionally, one of the things that happened to me at this point was I felt like I could now work and be productive without a crutch. And by that I mean, and again, I want to credit Alex Becker here, which is where I got this sort of analogy, but when you're addicted, you get to this place where there's a heavy association between drinking caffeine and then getting your work done. And it kind of puts you in this jail cell, right? Like this caffeine jail cell where you're locked in there and the door you need to pass through is the caffeine. So it's kind of like, hey, you can get out of here, right? You can be alert, you can be awake, you can be productive, but you got to go through me first. And I just hated that, to be honest. When I listened to that breakdown of having to pass through this wall, this jail cell, in order to do something or in order to sit down and do work and earn money and feel productive, I was just like, that. I want that to come from within, and I want that to come from me. I don't even want to go. So I'm gonna wrap up things here because essentially I hit the 60 days, no caffeine, no problem, and I really didn't have an urge to go back. But I'm also a big believer in using drugs and supplement as tools, right? Tools that are meant to be kept in your tool belt and only utilized when necessary or advantageous. So I'm not against the idea of using caffeine sparingly when it's really necessary, and I just don't want to use it to get work done because I think that creates a negative association with productivity. So, I mean, after day 60, I went an extra 21 days, and then transparently, I was at a bar with my friend and I was super tired. So instead of being tired boy, super not fun to be around, I decided, hey, what the hell? I'm gonna just drink an energy drink. Now I'm at the place where I'm only drinking caffeine maybe once per week if I feel that the situation really calls for it or I really want it. Sometimes coffee just sounds really nice to sip on and enjoy. And other times, drinking a clean energy drink just to give me a boost when I'm a little bit tired just happens to fit the occasion. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, you probably liked something that I said. So subscribe to the channel so you can enjoy more of the things that I say on my other videos. Peace out.